Hello, another video, another weird place I need to record. I'm in the bathroom. But I mean, it's background. You can't be it. Okay, so we're on to week 8. Okay, so your baby is growing a millimeter every day. I feel like this is the shift where like it really gets going. Now your baby is trying to be a baby, and it has like cutesy little things. Because remember, we're focusing on the head and like the organs, and so you got like eyelids and a nose and lips, and so sweet. And we're also getting our reproductive system to go along with the kidney, but also, we don't have the corpus luteum anymore. And like I had stated, back when I explained what that was, eventually it turns into your reproductive system on top of like your kidneys and your urinary tract, because it's really trying to get the waste system as well. So eating and digestion can start, because that's obviously a key important part of being like a human, It's about a ½ inch long, so more like a grape versus a blueberry. And we're getting all of our major body organs right now. So, like I said, it's kind of working inside out outside of the head. The head is always first. All these little things kind of join in on the head. And then everything else starts slowly working it out. And, our most important is getting made first. And then everything else kind of just gets tacked on slowly but surely. Okay, your body. So I just kind of want to go on because things are kind of the same, but symptoms are getting a little bit more intense. Like I said, they get pretty intense until between week 10 and 12. And then I think it starts to slowly get better for most people. Some people sadly have to deal with horribleness the whole entire time. But your body is kind of growing along now that baby is growing. So it's kind of keeping going. Your breasts are still tender. You're still nauseous. Things that help with nausea, especially really bad. And especially I've had really bad nausea with both of my pregnancies. These things called C-bands, they put pressure on a point on your wrists that are said to help with, it's like an acupressure point to help with nausea. And I will say that I wore them every time I was nauseous. I don't know if they necessarily helped, but I think they did. Ginger, it's a very particular taste, but I will say when you're nauseous, anything will do. I did the candied ginger, so it was a little sugary, and I think it was a little bit easier to digest, but I will admit that that was an instant fix. It's not the same as tea. Having straight ginger is a huge difference. You can still do the teas, but if you really have really bad, that's the way to go. Smaller meals. Try to get yourself to have like 6 meals a day, especially because it's really hard to have a really full belly, or that can kind of make things worse, let alone it's hard to eat in general. So having like 5 to 6 small meals a day, a sandwich and a small side, is really helpful. Trying to get your fruits and veggies in. Actually, that does keep things balanced in you, which in return does help for nausea, even though sometimes that tends to be issues with that, like I've said on many occasions. But it also keeps you regular, and constipation starts to become an issue as well. And I had severe constipation, and you can take medicine, for that. Obviously, I always recommend talking to your midwife or your doctor, but you can take things, but prune juice, fruits and veggies that tend to make you poo, grapes, they're all very helpful to keep you regular, which you don't need anything else making the nausea worse. So staying regular that way is way easier when you're eating fruits and vegetables like that. You're going to start to notice food cravings as well as aversions. I feel like cravings come a little bit later in the first trimester, and maybe that's just because of the nausea. You're quick to notice things you don't like. And you kind of stick to really bland food if you're very nauseous, so it's kind of hard to find your cravings necessarily. But I will say towards the end of the first trimester or second trimester, you kind of get your cravings a little bit more, but they can pop up right now. So you have a increase in blood level because of baby, because of, giving them what they need, and in general just to help protect the baby. But this can cause for greater headaches because you kind of have more of a blood flow than it's used to. So that's something, especially with everything else going on in your body, to pay attention to. You can take Tylenol, and you can definitely, there's like headache teas and like, other headache remedies that you can do like directly on the head, essential oils. There's a lot of things that you can do for that. Kind of just find what works best for you, to be quite honest with you, because they can be pretty brutal. Another strange thing to think about that we always tend to forget with everything else going on in our blood, increased blood flow, our hormones are being at these different levels, you actually can burn a lot easier. So depending how often you're outside, what season, these kinds of things, just always wear sunscreen. Everyone should always wear sunscreen anyways, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't matter what sunscreen you choose to wear, but you should wear some form of sun protectant, and especially when you're pregnant, because you can burn super easy with that. And bleeding after sex, believe it or not, almost your entire pregnancy is extremely normal. They are being for real when they are talking about, you want to see clots coming out, you want to be bleeding for long periods of time. Dark blood is a concern, bright red blood, especially after sex, probably is just because of sex. Increased blood flow, increased hormones, these things are causing that, blood to happen. It's not necessarily that something happened. And to be quite honest with you, and do your research, people, but I am here to tell you, it takes a lot to even get near baby because of your body's natural way to protect itself, knowing that is an open hole, and also knowing you have sex in that hole. So it takes a lot to come near that baby. So please stop thinking that a penis can easily harm baby in that way. Is it possible? Sure, depending on how short your cervix is, how large a penis, how aggressive. But even the very aggressive sex that normal people have, you'll be okay. I've been there. I have that type of sex, and I have never harmed my baby, okay? That's kind of all that's going on. That's kind of what's going on with baby, going on with you. Lots of growing rate, and those are kind of what you're going to be hearing over the next, few months, to be quite honest with you, is just a lot of growing with baby, and in return can cause some issues for you. And as we get more into the second trimester, different symptoms will be happening. Most of the first trimester is about the same, but I'll just keep touching on it. And after this, we're going to go over the end of month 2's doctor visits, risks, and things to pay attention to for your body. If you have any questions, comment below.